Sir, this yard is embarrassing the whole neighborhood.
I'm doing the best I can.
Maybe it's time you admitted this house is too much for you.
Ma'am, are you saying he should leave the home he's lived in for decades?
If he can't take care of it anymore, then yes.
Then maybe this yard needs a mower, not a moving truck.
A home should never be measured by the height of its grass. The easiest thing in the world is to look at an overgrown yard and decide someone has given up. The harder, and far kinder thing, is to stop long enough to ask what they're carrying before deciding they no longer belong in the place they've called home for decades. Before I tell you the rest of this story, comment which US state you're watching from. I'd love to see all 50 states in the comments. After the neighbor walked away, I introduced myself and asked the old man if he would let me take care of the yard. At first, he politely refused. He told me he had always been the one mowing the lawn, fixing the fence, and keeping the property looking nice. Accepting help made him feel like he was admitting he couldn't take care of his own home anymore. I told him that everyone needs a hand sometimes, and after a long silence, he finally nodded. As we talked, he explained why the yard had become so overgrown. 6 months earlier, his wife had been diagnosed with advanced Parkinson's disease. She could no longer be left alone for very long because she often lost her balance and needed help with even the simplest daily tasks. Every morning began with preparing her medication, helping her get dressed, making breakfast, driving her to medical appointments, and staying beside her throughout the day. By the time evening came, he was physically exhausted. The lawn became one more thing he kept promising himself he would do tomorrow. Tomorrow turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. It wasn't because he had stopped caring about his home. It was because every spare moment was spent caring for the person he had promised to stand beside for the rest of his life. As he looked toward the front window, where his wife was quietly watching us, he smiled and said, "If I have one good hour left in my day, I'd rather spend it sitting beside her than pushing a lawnmower." That was the moment I understood the yard wasn't being neglected. It was simply waiting behind something far more important. I unloaded my mower and got to work, trimming the sidewalks, edging the driveway, cutting the front lawn, clearing the thick grass around, mowing the backyard, and blowing every walkway clean. Nearly 2 hours later, the property looked completely different. When I finished, his wife slowly stepped onto the porch with his help. She looked across the freshly cut lawn, then reached over and gently squeezed his hand. The old man smiled at her before turning to me and quietly said, "People thought I was choosing to ignore my yard. The truth is, every day I was choosing my wife instead." At that moment, I realized the lawn had never been the biggest problem. The real problem was how quickly we assume we know someone's story just by looking at the outside of their home. If this story touched your heart, comment "home" for every husband and wife who continue choosing each other through life's hardest seasons. A little kindness can protect more than a lawn. It can preserve someone's dignity and remind them they don't have to face life's burdens alone. And if you believe we should always ask someone's story before judging what we see, please like, share, and follow for more heartfelt lawn care stories. Thank you for watching.